Welcome to the Dreams by Any Means Motivation Station. I'm your host, Ed Doxson. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy 6-month mark of 2026. It's crazy to think that we are halfway through this year already, but nonetheless, I hope everyone is having an amazing 2026 so far. And if you're not, this is the time to reset, restart, and realign and get a program for what you need to do. Thank you to everyone that's been continuing to tap into the podcast episodes. I say that every episode because I do truly appreciate it. And today's topic is actually talking about people are always watching. And it's actually inspired by a listener that reached out to me yesterday in regards to her catching up to some of the episodes of last year, mainly around the summer separation, and was saying how it's currently helping her navigate through some things she's currently dealing with in life. And, that made my day. And I say that made my day because a lot of creators can relate. Sometimes you feel the pressure of continually and consistently putting out episodes or putting out content, even if you may not have the creative juices flowing or the content that you want to produce. And sometimes you lose your own motivation in your own personal life, so you're trying to work on realigning that to make sure you're able to please your audience in those things. But nonetheless, we have tons of episodes covering many topics that you can go listen to at any time. So I was happy to hear that when she reached out. But again, her reaching out related to this topic today, that people are always watching, because it's something that myself, my group chat, some of my close friends, we talk about a lot. And it's true, right? Because, people are always watching. We're in the world with social media. All the different platforms has allowed us to stay connected to people that we may have not seen or talked to since high school, people that we may have not seen or talked to since college, people who we may not even continue to have the best relationships with, right? But we're still able to keep in contact with those people, and able to watch those people, I should say. And it stuck out to me because, sometimes we think people may not be watching, or we think, oh, I need to do more, or, I'm lacking in this area, or, for example, with the story I'm sharing, I was like, oh man, I need to hurry up and get another guest on the podcast. I'm reposting old episodes, hoping people are tapping into what they may have not tapped into yet. And nonetheless, she reached out to me, and that really made my day and motivated me today to create this episode. But one of my mentors, we talked about people always watching, probably a couple years ago. And then, he said something that stuck to me. It's like, people are always keeping score. And, keeping score not in a way of like, measuring what you're exactly doing, but just keeping score of how you're showing up, what you're doing, and who you are. And, I think in our personal lives as well as our professional lives, it's something to keep in mind, to know that people are always watching. People are always watching, even if they don't say anything. You may be in a job, you may have been feel like you're stuck in for 6 years, or you may be in a job where you feel not appreciated, undervalued, but people are always watching. And when we have that mindset that someone is always watching, it should motivate you to show up consistently and in a great manner all the time. But whether a person is watching or not, that's where your integrity kicks in, where you have to know to do the right thing because it is the right thing to do. But sometimes, we just feel like we're not getting rewarded, or we feel like we may not have the largest audience that we desire, or we may not have the 50,000 followers on Instagram, right? But nonetheless, it just takes 1, 2, 3 people, whatever the case may be, that may be watching you, that is one, choice away from changing your life, or changing your mood, or you impacting their lives. And I think when we think about that somebody's always watching, we got to keep that in mind of the things we do. We got to keep that in mind of the values that we have, keep that in mind of how we show up, keep that in mind of, what we post on social media, how we react to things. We're in a world now where there's so many controversial topics going on in the world, and everyone wants to weigh in on different things. And, people are watching. Even if someone doesn't love your story, doesn't like your post, people are scrolling and watching what you have going on. And also in the flesh as well, when you're navigating through whatever city you're in, whatever job you're in, just know that people are always watching. And for me, I think I'm in a space right now, I take a lot of breaks from IG. I take a lot of breaks from the podcast. I just take a lot of breaks to balance out and fall back sometimes. But sometimes, you don't know your impact that you are having on a person. And I think we also got to remember how to, show up at the times when we probably don't want to show up or don't feel like showing up. So, when I think about people always watching, man, the first thing I would say as we navigate through this is, learning and understanding your audience. Who is your audience, right? And when I say that, it's not just speaking from like a social media perspective. Your audience could be your kids, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends, your gym buddies, people that are part of your gym. All of these people can be your audience, right? And, what you have to do is learn your audience. And again, this isn't an episode to say we're living in the world of just people pleasing, but if you're moving around, you're active, you're engaging, you're in social environments, social groups, run clubs, all these different type of things, you are allowing these eyes to be placed on you. And as these eyes are placed on you, you need to ask yourself, how do you want to be represented? How do you want people to view you? And, what mark do you want to leave on the lives of these people, whether it's intentional or unintentional? And this second half for me of 2026, I really have entered a space where I'm comfortable with just showing up 110% me, flaws and all, and not caring, what a person thinks about me, but in a sense of not caring that I know I'm showing up authentic. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I have moral principles and values that I'm standing on. I know I'm learning from my past mistakes to be a better person. I think the first half of this year was a lot of lessons. The audit and insurance episode I talked about, that's still something that's in my life where I had to realize that a lot of people in my life that don't belong in my life anymore. Whether that goes some friends, family, close friends, and it's not like a thing where you got to be like, oh, get out of my life. No, but you just sometimes reevaluate when the loyalty doesn't align with the same loyalty that you have, or the expectations that you put on a person, they don't live up to those expectations. And in the same sense, right, we have to check ourselves and say, okay, me from a religious perspective, I'm at fault. We can be at fault for those who are religious. You're at fault for putting a human, so much faith into a human, like God says, like, don't put no faith in no man, like, it's in me. And I think for me, time will reveal those people who belong in your life and don't. Some people come in your life for seasons, some are there for reasons. There's some people that have been in your life for 2 years, and that bond may be stronger than someone that's been in your life for 12 years, right? That's just how life goes. And again, this is all tying into talking about people always watching, but it's also on our end, right? When we talk about people always watching, it's not just watching us, but we're always watching too. So when we think about us watching those around us, whether it's through via social media, whether it's watching the patterns and behavior of friends, family, co-workers, whatever the case is, right? All of this is information that you're able to take in, digest, process, and decide what to do with it. And, this yesterday, just the start of this month, start of a new month, 6 month on a Monday, I just felt so great, felt so good to really just lock in, man. Like, I'm looking at these next 6 months of what I want to do. I'm getting ready for a milestone birthday in February. And I'm just at a space where, like, I'm just getting to a point where I'm happy with what happened and what doesn't happen. And what I mean by that is that, I'm happy with who stays along for the ride, who's not on the ride, right? Because going back again, people are always watching. So those people that you may lose, that may fall off the train, just know they're going to be other people that are going to get on the train. They're going to be other spectators along your journey. And you have to embrace that. It's tough sometimes. It hurts sometimes. You might even shed some tears sometimes. But at the end of the day, this is all part of the process moving forward. So, as I just think about people are always watching, just let them watch, Think about what you want your view to be. I think of analogy as a TV show, right? People are always watching. People have tons of TV shows they love, whether it's Power, Netflix, The Wire, Scandal, reality TV, right? And what happens a lot of times with these shows, when you love them so much, you watch them over and over and over again, right? For myself, I'm guilty of it. I've probably watched all 5 seasons of The Wire at least 6 times, right? And the lesson, though, is that each time I do watch that series over, I get a new lesson and a new takeaway from it. So think about that when we think about people that are watching us. Think about the TV series that you want to be. Do you want to be one that is a rerun that people are running and watching all the time? Do you want to be the most viewed one? Do you want to be the one that hits the heart? Think about what you want yourself to be when people are sitting back watching. And again, think about what you want to see when you are watching others. So I'm wishing everyone a great second half of 2026. Hoping that everyone can really just lock in on whatever they need to lock in on. It's a tough time right now, right? It's a tough economy. It's a tough administration. Gas prices are high. People are losing jobs. People are getting older. We're having health scares with people that we love. Our parents, grandparents are aging. Some people are losing loved ones, just due to a thing that's, unavoidable with life. We all get called home one day. And, sometimes that stuff gets scary. Sometimes it gets alarming, but that's why yesterday I sent out a text message to a lot of close people in my lives, just sending them good energy and saying, hey, man, we're at this 6-month mark. Let's keep going. I know it gets tough, but by any means, hustle plus faith equals success. We're going to get that win that we all want. So I hope you all have a great Tuesday. Make sure you all subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on IG as well, DBAMTV. That's on all platforms. If you type in Dreams by Any Means Motivation Station, and my IG handle is Dreams by Any Means as well. Looking forward to another summer separation too. Shout out to my friend that reached out to me. She really motivated me, because even myself, I've been looking at summer separation, just how locked in I was last summer, and definitely planning to implement a lot of those strategies that I had last summer for this summer. But for her to tell me she tapped into that episode, which was Solitude, that really motivated me for sure. And last summer when I did that summer separation, just mentally, I was in the best space I probably ever been in my life. So I'm looking forward to the summer. I hope you all are looking forward to this summer as well, and this month. This is a great month. We're getting ready to start the summer. Kids getting out of school, Juneteenth coming up, and all those good things. So, y'all know, like I always say, hustle plus faith equals success. I'm going to catch y'all on the next episode. Have a blessed week.